I am gonna open up this video by saying that over 50% of Japanese companies use AI in development, according to Tokyo Game Show organizer. If I was to read just like a tiny bit of the article here, Japanese Computer Entertainment Suppliers Association, CISA, the organization running Tokyo Game Show, released a preview of the 2025 CISA Video Game Industry Report on September 25th. As reported by the Nikkei, the research includes insights into how much domestic companies are using AI and generative AI. Based on the responses from 54 Japanese game companies collected between June and July 2025, about 51% use generative AI in game development. The most commonly cited use of AI was in the generation of visual assets and images such as characters, followed by story and text generation, and lastly, programming support. Reportedly, 32% of the game companies are enlisting the help of AI to develop in-house game engines. This article includes the examples of AI generating the background for some in-game stuff and descriptions of objects and prompt examples. Effectively, the reason why I wanted to open up with this article is because, yes, the article is about Japan, and we're talking about China and a Chinese company. Here's the thing. I don't think that people in Asia are as opposed to AI as people in the West are. We see AI as, first of all, drop in quality, because it is. Secondly, as something that is taking away the jobs of artists, because it is. Something that is stealing artists' works, because it is. And lastly, as an environmental impact, because, well, AI server farm cooling is requiring quite a lot of drinking water that then can't be used as drinking water. It's using up quite a lot of electricity. It's not good for the environment. AI like generative farms are very non-environmentally friendly. And the country where I am from, there have been some agreements with big AI companies that made me fairly upset because, for example, during a drought, the citizens or people living in the country are told that we can't use water and that there's gonna be limits placed on us and the water prices are gonna go up, but AI companies get exemption from such things. So it isn't just a thing that's happening somewhere out there for me. It is very much a thing that's happening on my own doorstep that is impacting my own day-to-day life, and it frustrates me. It definitely angers me. It doesn't seem like Asia has quite the same relationship with AI. And as such, we are seeing more and more AI slip into Infinity Nikki. For example, a survey that was a survey about housing used AI to generate house inspiration. And this doesn't seem too bad, but it's not like this is the only place where AI is used. For example, AI is used for all of the translations inside the game now, outside of, I think, English and Chinese translation. And you see a lot of people that are natives of other countries quite upset about this, for the game suddenly does not make sense in their language, or the way that characters speak are very uncharacteristic for the way that the characters are supposed to speak. For example, Italian Momo says such lines as, "This piece of shit is tougher than I thought. Nikki, let's hit him with evidence. Let's tear those lies apart." Momo saying this piece of shit? Since when does Momo swear in the game? Well, in Italian version he does swear because the translations are AI. There was a French person that got very upset about incorrect grammar. So annoyed at AI translations again. Interroger commencer. I'm gonna be completely butchering anything that's not English. Guys, I speak Lithuanian and English, and I tend to communicate English for all like my videos and that sort of stuff. So I can't do the French thing. I can't do the German thing. Are you serious? For English speaking speakers, this is like saying interrogate begin. It's obviously grammatically incorrect. Finding a French speaking person isn't even hard. That's a very easy mistake to spot. There's no excuse. This is just greedy and disrespectful. And I know it's AI because there's no way an actual person is behind this. It reminds me of those poorly translated low quality mobile game ads that had a fake X button that would lead you straight to the App Store instead of letting you skip it. Anyway, I hate AI, I hate Infold, and I hate that there was no one to at least double check translations, because I know this happens constantly to other players that I play in a language that isn't English or Mandarin. And of course we have latest survey used AI, which was a person just being fairly upset about AI use because people in the West are fairly upset about AI use. I've known about the use of AI in translation for non-English or Chinese languages for a good while now. I've mentioned it in every survey how I hope that they would stop using AI and how if it is continued, I could no longer support the game. I know that I'm not alone in this sentiment, but I also know that there is a large swath of players who don't care. Respectfully, I do not want to hear from the folks who do not care right now. I am deeply against AI. I am an artist and a musician. I have family in other fields being overtaken by AI. It is poisoning our planet at extreme rates. It is poisoning our minds and ability to think. It is stealing our jobs in an already disastrous economy and job market. Yes, there are positive uses of AI, especially in the medical field. This is not one of them. In the latest survey, one of the questions uses AI-generated photos to ask which kinds of decorating styles we would be most interested in as players. It was completely unnecessary to use AI pictures here. Infold is on a slippery slope. They are using AI more, doing more harm to the planet and to the people who used to do AI's job at the company. It is disgusting, lazy corporate greed. I cannot abide by this anymore. I have decided to girl caught until further notice. I do hope others will join me in this decision. I hope other folks can recognize the harm AI brings, and not stand idly by as it takes over our lives thanks to greedy corporations. Now, here is one of the biggest issues when it comes to all of the mistakes that Infinity Nikki has made, including the use of AI. The biggest issue is that there isn't another game like Infinity Nikki on the market. It's kind of like that situation where The Sims were, and even now The Sims have fairly weak competitors to compare with, and yet the way that things are going, players might still have to choose other games. This is kind of like the situation where Infinity Nikki is. Who is competing with Infinity Nikki? Life Makeover? Which is an even more predatory gacha. That's even closer to a mobile game. There isn't like a big dress-up game, so how do you express that you do not want the quality of the game to go to the shitter, that you don't want the use of AI inside the game, that you want the company to be attentive when it comes to their own product without walking away? And here's the problem: you can't. But the product that you want does not exist anywhere else. So people are kind of caught in this place where the product that they're consuming is definitely breaking their moral principles, but they have nowhere else to go. Anti-AI sentiment has been expressed quite strongly by the Western surveys. I also share it. I also express it whenever I can, wherever I can. I do have concerns that things like AI translation, especially, like having AI overtake big parts of the game, completely devalues the game and removes a lot of the quality that the game could have carried. I try to express that as much as I can, yet I think that in a way this is gonna probably be sadly a losing battle. Because as you could see from the article, the Asian continent is not that invested in a fight against AI. And I mean, if you're a Mandarin speaker, are you really gonna know that Italian translation is not quite up to par? You might think that that's even fair, because this game is first and foremost for you, a Chinese citizen from a Chinese company. Everyone else is just kind of invited to play along with you, but they're not the primary customer in a way. So the problems that other people are having with the game, they might not appear entirely valid to you. Unless they're not appearing entirely valid to you, the company might also choose to ignore those. I have no other way to signal that this concerns me. This concerns me deeply. And Infinity Nikki is not the only game that concerns me in this way. I am in general concerned by an over-increasing reliance on AI for making commercial products, because it cheapens commercial products and it reduces the amount of people employed with a job, and I'm not gonna pay more for less. I'm not gonna pay more for less effort. I'm not gonna pay more for worse quality products. If possible, I wouldn't be consuming worse quality products at all. But what do you do when the environment around you is quickly pushing you into only worse quality products being available? And it's not like this is the only industry that has gone to shit over the years. Do you know how hard, for example, entirely off topic, do you know how hard it is to get clothes made out of natural fabrics? Or even get some natural fabrics to make clothes out of yourself. I end up paying from small retailers on things like Etsy, and I end up paying quite high prices for quite simple clothing just because I am looking for quality. I am looking for something that's gonna last. I'm looking for a natural, breathable fabric. And if I go out to the store right now, what am I gonna find? I'm gonna find a million derivatives of plastic. Clothes that stink upon washing them because it's plastic. Clothes that are not good if you're ever caught in a fire because it's plastic. Clothes that are in general not good for you to wear because it's plastic. And it has been like this for a long time now. So what do we do when we see the exact same thing happen to the games industry? It might not be plastic, but it's definitely products losing their quality in real time while we just get to sit here and to watch. I will say it like this. I hope that my continent gets better regulation. It's why EU regulation is quite important to me, even though UK has left it, because when a large continent decides on what is allowed and what is not allowed when it comes to products, other places tend to want to trade with them. So they need to, adapt the same rules in order to be able to sell in the area. And if we get legislation on AI and on AI in products, companies from anywhere else would still have to adapt to those regulations in order to sell inside the continent. This has become like a very big outside way of looking at it. I'm not gonna say boycott Infinity Nikki for AI use. I'm not gonna say Infinity Nikki has to listen to us and decrease AI use. I'm gonna say fight AI use locally. Get legislation involved wherever you are. Get that regulated. And less AI will be able to enter your country, and as such, companies that want to sell to said countries would then have to adapt. This is the only way that I can see us moving forward and still preserving the quality of products. I will ask though, what is your opinion on the whole AI use? I have my own ideas why they're doing it. I think that they're doing it because revenue is not what it was at release. Let's put it like that. And I think that this is a cost-cutting measure. I would argue that sometimes it is better to not even offer translations unless you can do them properly, because people get turned off from bad quality products. And people that get offended by bad quality products don't tend to come back and be repeat customers. So if you, due to monetary constraints, can no longer offer a service, that, in my opinion, is a better approach than what they're doing. And of course, things like generating images for a survey, that is entirely unnecessary, as the only thing that does is it angers the Western audience. I can't know this, but I imagine the Asian audience doesn't have the same problems and don't care about the same things, so for them it's not that big of a deal. But give me your opinions on this. What do you think would be a good solution? What do you think would make Infold to take a look at the practices that they're performing? What do you think about the ever-increasing use of AI to begin with? Just express your opinions. Because that's all we can do, really. We can have a discussion and we can petition our local governments for better regulations to do with AI and AI use and products. And that's what we just will have to do. Anyway, this has been quite an uncomfortable topic. It's something that's on my mind, and it's something that I hate to see happen. Hopefully, I can come back with a bit happier and less broad topics, something where we are more likely to enact change because the issue is with a product, or with just one product, or the issue is something that the demographic of Asian players and the demographic of Western players agree together that something is wrong inside the game, because those issues would be the ones that a company would be most likely to take a look at. I'm just gonna say I'm not happy with the ever-increasing reliance on AI when it comes to Infinity Nikki. I'm not happy with an ever-increasing reliance of AI when it comes to the gaming sector in general. It makes for worse products. I don't know what else to tell you. Outside of, I hope that I'm gonna see you in my other, hopefully more joyful videos. And thank you so much for my Patreon supporters, and help me enjoy whichever games that my little heart desires. And toodaloo for now.